The man in the expensive suit leaned back in his chair, voice loud enough for everyone to hear. "Maybe if you'd studied harder, you wouldn't be stuck serving burgers." The customers laughed. Ethan froze, tray trembling in his hands. His chest tightened, but before he could defend himself, his manager rushed over. "Apologize," the manager snapped. Ethan's heart sank. Swallowing his pride, he lowered his head. "I'm sorry, sir," the suited man smirked, victorious. The laughter stung worse than the words. In the corner booth, an old woman sipped her coffee, eyes fixed on Ethan, not with mockery, but with knowing silence. The Starlight Diner buzzed with the familiar chaos of clinking plates and sizzling grease. Ethan moved through it all with practiced efficiency, a 26-year-old waiter whose tired eyes hid years of accumulated disappointment behind a polite smile. Long before greasy aprons and endless shifts, Ethan had dreamed of chalkboards and classrooms. He'd wanted to be a teacher, the kind who lit sparks in young minds. A scholarship had made college possible until his father's accident shattered everything. Medical bills piled high, and someone had to step up. Ethan dropped out, trading textbooks for double shifts. Now his life was measured in tips and aching feet. He worked nights to cover rent and keep his 15-year-old sister Lily in school. She was bright-eyed and full of promise, the future Ethan once pictured for himself. Yet despite his sacrifices, he felt invisible. Customers barely saw him. The manager treated him like a disposable part. Every day, he convinced himself Lily's smile made it worthwhile. But the weight of lost dreams pressed heavier with each passing shift. That night, after the humiliation, Ethan forced himself to keep moving. He smiled through gritted teeth, refilled drinks, and carried his shame like an invisible burden. When the rush finally slowed, he noticed her again. The old woman in the corner booth wasn't like other late-night customers. No impatience, no scorn. Her eyes followed him with strange intensity, searching rather than judging. As Ethan brought her check, she reached for his hand. "You held yourself with dignity tonight," she said gently. "Don't ever let their cruelty make you forget who you are." Caught off guard, Ethan gave a tired smile and muttered thanks. When he returned to clear her table, she was gone. In her place lay a folded napkin containing a $20 bill and a handwritten note. "Don't let this world convince you you're worthless." The elegant handwriting felt deliberate, purposeful. For the first time in years, Ethan's chest loosened. Someone had seen him, not as a failure, but as a man holding his head high in a world trying to crush him. The next evening, she returned. The old woman slipped into the same corner booth with quiet grace, ordering only black coffee before settling into her watchful silence. Hours passed. When the crowd thinned, Ethan approached her booth hesitantly. "Refill?" she smiled. "You've had a hard night." "Every night's the same." Without a word, she slid an envelope across the table. "For you." Ethan frowned. "I don't need charity." "It's not charity," she replied firmly. "It's an invitation." Inside was a card with an address in elegant handwriting. Beneath it, 3 words, "Come tomorrow." "Trust me?" "What is this?" She stood and buttoned her coat. "A door, one you've been waiting for." Before Ethan could ask more, she vanished into the night, leaving him staring at the card as if it were glowing. That night, as Lily slept peacefully, Ethan sat at their kitchen table with the envelope. He thought about his father, broken after the accident, his mother gone too soon. Every humiliation endured to keep a roof over their heads. What if it was a scam? What if it was dangerous? But then again, What if it was real? By morning, his decision was made. The address led to a grand townhouse with stone walls and glowing windows that spoke of quiet wealth. When Ethan rang the bell, the same old woman answered, her eyes sharper than ever. "Welcome, Ethan. I've been expecting you." Inside, thick carpets muffled his steps. The air smelled of polished wood and old books. She led him to a sunlit study lined with portraits and leather-bound legal volumes. "Sit," she said, gesturing to a chair by her desk. "Why am I here? Who are you?" She studied him with quiet certainty. "My name is Eleanor Hayes. Some call me Judge Hayes." The name clicked. Judge Eleanor Hayes, the retired judge, famous for taking on corruption and fighting for justice when others were too afraid. She'd vanished from public view years ago. "You're that Judge Hayes?" "Once, but these days I prefer Eleanor. Titles fade, but what matters is what we do with our remaining time." "Why me? Why watch me?" Eleanor leaned back, folding her hands. "Every month, I visit places where people think no one's watching. Diners, bus stations, parks. I look for something money can't buy: character. You impressed me, Ethan. You were humiliated, yet didn't strike back with cruelty. You held your dignity. That told me everything." Ethan shook his head. "I'm no one special, just trying to survive." "Exactly. That's what makes you special. The world applauds wealth and power, but I've learned the truest strength lies in those who endure quietly, who keep giving when no one gives back." Eleanor opened a drawer and slid a folder across the desk. Financial statements, letters, scholarship forms. "I've spoken with the school board. If you wish, I'll sponsor your return to college. Tuition, books, living costs, everything covered. Not charity, an investment." Ethan's throat tightened. "Why would you do this?" "Because someone once did it for me. And because you remind me of qualities this world desperately needs: kindness, honesty, the strength to bend without breaking." Tears burned Ethan's eyes. For the first time in years, he felt truly seen. "I'm offering you a door, Ethan. All you need to do is walk through it." Ethan sat frozen, staring at the papers. "I can't accept this. You don't even know me." Eleanor's tone carried steel beneath the calm. "I know enough. I know how you looked after that young mother at the diner while your manager berated you. I know you worked 3 tables alone without raising your voice. I know the look in your eyes when that man mocked you. You swallowed your pride for your family. That is strength. But what if I fail again? Then you fail trying, but you won't fail alone. I don't hand out money to strangers. I build legacies, and I see one in you." The walls Ethan had built, years of shame, exhaustion, hopelessness, crumbled. "My sister Lily, she deserves better than I can give." Eleanor smiled. "Already handled. Her tuition is covered through high school and college. Consider it done." "You've already done this." "I don't make empty promises. I've spent my life making decisions that shape futures. I sentenced men who thought themselves untouchable. I freed the wrongly accused. Now in my twilight years, I have one mission: ensuring those with true character get the tools to rise." Overwhelmed, Ethan buried his face in his hands. Yesterday he was being laughed at, forced to apologize for existing. Now he was being told he was worth an investment that could change everything. "I can't erase your pain," Eleanor said softly, "but I can give you a chance to rewrite the ending. When your time comes, do the same for someone else. Pass it on. That's the only repayment I want." Ethan looked up, tears clinging to his lashes. The weight of hopelessness lifted. replaced by something he'd thought lost forever: hope. "I'll do it." For the first time in years, Ethan felt his life wasn't a closed chapter, but the beginning of a new story. The transformation felt surreal. Ethan met with advisors, signed paperwork, and dared to imagine in standing before a classroom again. At home, Lily clung to him in disbelief when he shared the news. "College? For real? You're going back?" Her eyes sparkled with returned hope. Eleanor remained supportive but never intrusive, reminding him he'd earned this through dignity in the face of humiliation. One evening, Ethan returned to the diner, not as an employee, but as a customer. The manager avoided his eyes. The same conversations filled the air, but this time Ethan felt no shame. In the corner booth sat Eleanor, sipping coffee, her eyes warm with pride. He slid into the seat across from her. "Thank you," he whispered. Eleanor smiled. "No, Ethan. Thank you. You reminded me why I still believe in people. Sometimes the world decides quickly who matters and who doesn't." A suited man receives respect while a young waiter faces mockery. But dignity doesn't live in bank accounts or titles. It lives in the quiet strength of those who endure, who keep giving when everything is taken away. Ethan thought he was invisible, another face behind an apron. Yet one woman saw him, not his uniform or shame, but his character, and everything changed. Judge Eleanor Hayes reminded us of a forgotten truth: respect can be stolen, but worth cannot. When someone believes in you, they return the power to believe in yourself. Perhaps that's the lesson. The smallest act of recognition, the gentlest spark of kindness, can open doors we never knew existed. Sometimes the very people we overlook, the quiet waiter, the weary worker, the elderly woman in the corner, carry the power to change a life forever. In a world quick to judge by appearance, Eleanor saw deeper. She understood that true character reveals itself not in moments of triumph, but in how we carry ourselves when stripped of everything except our humanity. And in that corner booth of a small-town diner, one woman's faith in human dignity became the bridge between a young man's broken dreams and his second chance at hope.